I'm back. Remember MTV?
Oh yeah.
When you actually would listen to MTV, and that's how you found your new material, basically. And so I always had MTV on in the background, and I was sitting at my desk and I was paying bills, and I hear this song come on, and I just, hello, Chuck, how are you? And I would just, you know, it, something happened, and I stopped what I was doing. And at this point now, I had, I think, a 6-year-old daughter, maybe. She'll, I don't think she was much older than that. And I turn around and I'm listening to this song, man, and it just practically brought me to tears, if not tears. I just, I couldn't believe it. And it was this guy singing this song, although it's not about daughter, but it's called Daughters, right? And it's John Mayer singing this song. And when he finished, I just kind of sat there for another like 5 minutes, just doing nothing. But in my mind, I'm just like, I have to mix this guy. I have to mix, not like I'm forcing it. I'm just like, oh, how great it would be to mix this guy,
He's the new
right?
James Brown.
He's the new James Brown. And, you know, it was, you know, and it's interesting because who mixed that song? It was the guy who was my favorite mixer that did Jellyfish,
Oh, Jack
right?
Joseph.
Jack Joseph Puig, right?
Yeah.
And little did I know till later I found out. So I call up my manager and I said, Eric, do you know John Mayer? Like he would say, no, who is that? I go, Eric, I really have to mix this guy. I have to mix this guy. And he goes, no problem. I know his manager, Michael McDonald, really well. I'll talk to him. And it was one of those things where I was like, okay, so I talked to my manager. He's going to talk. Now I need to meet maybe one of the musicians, right? And, well, who's producing it? Well, it's Steve Jordan. I knew Steve Jordan. He was a regular at
He's
Media Sound,
part of that New
right?
York crew.
He was all part of the crew. Did he know me? Of course he knew me, right? And I was like, okay, I'll talk to Steve, And so, you connect the dots. It's like you hit them from all different angles. The manager, a buddy, a musician, anything. It's, he's at a bar, he's hanging out, and somebody mentions my name. And then the manager, enough people, you hear that person's name, you're going to go, who is this guy? Right. And so one thing led to another, and he gave me a shot at mixing a song. And he was about to mix, ready to mix Continuum, and Manny was mixing some, and it turned out to be half and half, which is how I met Manny too.
Right.
Because until that point, I never heard, Andrew, when you've got two mixes on a record, and you listen to it and then it goes, you got yours, and then it kind of just goes into another feel. It just doesn't quite fit. And not in a positive way. It's not like the other ones feel so much better than yours. You're just like, they should have kept that energy. They should have continued that energy that I was, bringing out of this artist. And they kind of go in a different direction, and the focus, it doesn't quite fit. And I often felt like that. And it's not from like an egotistical way. It's more like I was, I was creating like a nice atmosphere, and now I'm like, and it just takes me out of it. And I'm like, well, it's not my job. I'm just, and then Manny was the first person who, when I was listening to the album, I'm like, I didn't mix this song, did I? I was like, how could this guy capture the soul just like me? Which is a very interesting observation, because what I'm saying is it's got nothing to do with technique
Mm-hmm.
and balance. It's like when somebody touches on a song, another mixer like yourself, you don't know what just happened. You know what I'm saying? It's like suddenly you're going, wait a minute, who is that guy? Who is he? Right? And that's what happened. And we end up becoming really close buddies. Like, who are you? I mean, he'd already been doing a lot of great records, but
Yeah.
it really came to my attention on this because now I had a reference, right? I knew where he had. It's just, Chad had recorded, great engineer, right? He also does John's live shows. Have you ever seen what Chad
No,
does?
no, I haven't.
Oh my goodness. This guy is such a great live mixer and a great recording engineer. I'm sure a great mixer, except that, we usually we're mixing him, or did. So it was great. And he really liked what I was doing and gave me more songs, and then we did the second album together, with the Battle Studies. And then I mixed a few on, and then he kind of, being in LA, also he just loved being able just to walk in and be with Manny. And, listen, if you get more than one album from an artist, it's all a bonus, don't you think?
Yeah, and you've had quite a few return people,
And
so
and
it's good.
and I'll take that, man. I mean, like, there's no expectations in this, and and if you get upset and you feel like you deserve, which happened to me on the second Coldplay record, I got that kind of like, whoa, what happened? Like, you shouldn't have those kind of expectations. Like, enjoy what you've done, and if the band moves on to something else, it's because they're going in new directions, and if they want to bring you along, that's fine. And if they don't, that should be fine. It hurts, we're human, but you shouldn't expect that they're going to come back with success. You just shouldn't, don't you think? I mean,
Yeah.
you know what
Oh, you
it's like.
can't
It's
ever
just,
expect it. I mean, and sometimes it's because they take what you did for granted. They don't realize that how personal that
it could
was,
be
and then they
that.
do come back. I mean, Coldplay's come back.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes it is just they're off somewhere else, and it's, of course, they're artists. It's their record. Like, what does that have to do with us?
With you.